Bring down the power of love, I say. Bring down the power. The power of love, I say, is the greatest power. Stop hell and damnation. Bring down the power. Love to heal a nation is the greatest power.
What's your point? Good evening. It is good to be back after being missing in action for 2 weeks. I was on retreat the first week, and last week I was in Grenada on pastoral assignment, and I want to thank Father Setut for sitting in for me. But it's good to be back. You know, tonight we want to look at the issue of crime in St. Lucia, violence in St. Lucia, school violence in St. Lucia. And we will discuss and dissect. Tonight, I will be having a guest on the show. I am Father Albert Aaron. What's your point? Starts now.
Bring down the power of love, I say. Bring down the power. The power of love, I say, is the greatest power. Stop hell and damnation. Bring down the power. Love to heal a nation is the greatest power.
Hello everyone, and welcome to What's Your Point on Power 97.9 FM. We're also live on Power 97 FM Facebook page. Thank you for joining me. I am Father Albert Aaron, here with you until 8 p.m. Again, we will be discussing crime, violence in St. Lucia, and try to see if we may get to the root cause of what is happening. You know, also tonight, we will be having our daily pointer, our reflective melody, and my conclusion. Let us look at what is happening in St. Lucia right now. Let us look at the crime. You know, we pray for an end to crime and violence. You know, we march for an end to crime and violence. You know, is it that God is not hearing our prayers? Is it that we are not doing what we are supposed to do as Christian men and women, as citizens of St. Lucia, as men and women of goodwill? You know, over the last few days, we heard of 2 persons. A young man was gunned down in his car in Dennery. You know, I happen to know him very well when I worked with the then St. Lucia Banana Growers Association. His mom worked at the boxing plant that I worked, and he used to come there to help the mom in stippling boxes, assembling boxes together. So for me, this thing is close at home. Somebody that you've grown with over the years, that you've known them, and to hear that they are shot. I mean, life has become so cheap that, persons see no worry in just taking out somebody, probably for a few $100s, probably for disagreeing with you, probably for thinking that you are in this thing, this argument, and it cannot be resolved anywhere else. And I think that has to do with a deep breakdown in morals, a deep breakdown in our fear of the Lord. This other young man that was gunned down as well, Dwayne Felix, of Basse Joseph, from G6 Productions. Why is it that we seem to want to resolve everything with violence? Why does it comes across as though there is no alternative way of dealing with our violence. And we call ourselves a Christian nation. So Christians of St. Lucia, we need to take our Christianity out of the church. We need to take Christianity out of the four walls of our churches and take it to the streets. Take our Christianity to our workplaces. Take our Christianity to the bars. Take our Christianity to the football field. Take our Christianity everywhere we go, so that that Christianity, that command that Christ gave to us to love one another as I have loved you, will permeate the very fabric of our society. I think that there is a moral breakdown in society. I think that there is poor parenting in society. When you look at the age range of the guys, or whoever may be involved in violent crimes, I think, and I may be wrong, stand to correction, that these people do not have a relationship with God. These people may have never been taken to church as a young person growing up. There is a breakdown in parenting in St. Lucia. Parents cannot seem to do anything with their children, and then they send them to the schools for the teachers. Last night I was doing a session, a kind of retreat for parents of children in First Communion and Confirmation in the Groseley Parish, and a lady says, Father, they could be 11 years old, and sometimes we cannot do anything with them. Like, for really? Like, really? An 11-year-old under your roof, you providing everything for that 11-year-old, and you cannot seem to do anything with that 11-year-old? Well, we are failing our children if that is what it is. We love our children so much. We love our children and we want to give them everything. We want to spoil them. What they want is what we want. But then we are simply manufacturing bullies for our society, because we are not teaching our children to have respect for each other. We are not teaching our children, to respect authority. We are not teaching our children to respect the adults in society. When I was growing up, I couldn't dare pass on the road and did not greet an adult person. I would get licks, I could not be in school and misbehave, and my parents would ever think of going into a school to quarrel or to stand up to the teacher, who probably gave me a few lashes or something to that effect. St. Lucia, we need to wake up. We need to wake up. Everybody talk about their right. It is my right not to go to church. It is my right to raise my child in the way I want. It is my right to do what I want with my child. Fair enough. But are we building a society in the fear of the Lord? Are we building a society where we have respect for each other? Are we building a society where we feel that we can just say what we want to each other, treat each other how we want? Or is it that we claim to be Christians, but we are only Christians on the weekend? I want to challenge all of us. I want to challenge all of us in St. Lucia. All of you who are listening to this program tonight, I want to challenge all of us, because we are going down, or we are already down a slippery road. How are we planning to reclaim what St. Lucia used to be? Or at least we may not be able to go back to what St. Lucia used to be, but how do we plan on making St. Lucia a better society? How are we planning to help our younger people that there is a need to show respect for one another? There is a need to respect seniors. There is a need to respect the adults in society. We cannot just feel we can, and it's a culture in St. Lucia now, that persons feel, I can tell this person what I want, how I want, where I want, what I want, how I want. And this is wrong. It is wrong on all levels. And I marvel when I listen to people speak, and the way they speak speak of each other, and then they go and sit in church on a Saturday or on a Sunday. That's not what God is teaching us. That's not what Christ wants of us. That is not what Christ wants of us. Christ wants us to treat each other well. And if we don't even know sometimes how to treat our own selves, how do we know how to treat another person? How do we raise the children? Because if we are not raised properly, and when I look at St. Lucia, we've lost a whole generation. We have lost a whole generation. So now, if we have to do a change of mindset, we now need to start from those preschoolers. We have to start from these preschoolers. When you want to raise your child and to be dressing the child anyhow, all what we see on TV we adopt, and we don't even know the meaning of what it is. And we many of us are Catholics. Many of us St. Lucians are Catholics. We go and we say, "Oh, Father, I need to baptize the child," and all of those kind of things. Yes, but when we come to baptize that child, one of the things, one of the tenets, one of the parts of the baptismal rite is that parents and godparents make a promise publicly to raise that child in the Christian faith. And then after the baptism, not even the week after, you see them taking the child to church. So you have failed your child, you have failed yourselves, and then you have failed the church. Because when you do not live up to your promises, this is the beginning of the breakdown in society. When on a weekend you cannot even take your child to church, and you say, "Oh, well, Father, they are tired," or "I am tired. I worked the whole week and I'm tired." But I look at, when I look back and I see, the kind of sacrifices that parents used to make. We did not have all those facilities that we have at our fingertips right now. When you were doing a research paper, you had to go and flip through the pages of encyclopedia. Now the information is at our fingertips. Now every other person have a vehicle, so people don't have to walk. And when you drive in Castries, around a certain time, when you pass by the Ave Maria, St. Aloysius Boys School, the traffic is at a standstill because parents love their children so much, they cannot even allow them to walk 2 minutes. They hold in traffic, and it's a whole charade. Parents, how much do you love your children? Catholic parents who promise to raise their children in the Catholic faith, how much do you love that child? How much are you journeying with that child? How much are you raising that child in the fear of the Lord? How much are you raising that child to be the best child in society so that the child can make a meaningful contribution to the country, a meaningful contribution to the church? The Catholic Church, in our teachings, in our theology, in the tenets of our faith, the church has a responsibility to form the conscience of its members. And that is very serious. And when, you bring your child, to be baptized, and you disappear with that child until the age of First Communion, at what point are you giving the church an opportunity to help you in forming the conscience of these children? Then at First Communion, they disappear again. And some mothers, some parents, all they see at First Communion is the beautiful dress and the beautiful suit, and the sacrament is not important. Then they disappear again after First Communion, and some may resurrect for confirmation. You have not given us a chance to help form the consciences of these children. In no way. In no way. So at the end of the day, a lot of what is happening in St. Lucia, we are reaping what we sow. The breakdown in morals, the breakdown in parents not taking their children to church anymore, That is what we are, because these people, they do not have a foundation in Jesus Christ. These people do not have a foundation in God. And even for some of the parents, they tell you, oh, I'm not religious. So they not belong to any religious group. They're spiritual and they're wicked more than anything else. But if you are spiritual, you don't go to a church within the walls, so you don't go to the seven days church, you don't go to the Catholic church, you don't go to the evangelical church, you don't go to the Pentecostal church, but you are spiritual, you read your Bible. What is the Bible saying to you? Many of you are a bunch of hypocrites. Because that same Bible, if you are reading the Bible, you would realize that the Bible is saying to you, love one another as I have loved you. Do not hate. Do not gossip. Do not spread a rod and spoil the child. All of those kind of things. So it does not make sense to me that people tell you, oh, I'm not religious. I don't go to any organized church. I cannot deal with the organized church. But you need to organize yourselves. You need to organize yourselves, because you yourself, you are very, very, very disorganized. And all we are giving to society are disorganized children, wounded children, broken children. And we cannot do anything at home with these children, and we send them to the schools. And we expect the teachers to fix those children. But we have added insult to injury. When I was growing up, I got my strokes from the schools. Denry boys, rich for infant. I got my fair share of strokes. And my mother did not go to the school to quarrel with any teacher or the principal. Now you see, parents are going to schools because the teacher may have corrected the child. You see parents going to schools to fight with other children for their children. I remember the story that comes to mind is that two children were in an argument and got into a fight. The parents got involved and they fought with each other to the point where they had to go to court. And it is said that while the parents were on their way to court, the children bought a sweet, broke it in two, and they shared it with each other. So, we need to ask ourselves questions. We need to ask ourselves, how are we raising the children that God has given us as gift? Because that child is not yours. That child is a gift from God for you to help raise that child to the best of your ability. And when you have not raised that child to the best of your ability, then you have failed God. Then you have failed society, and you have failed yourselves. So friends, we need to look at this violence in our society, this violence in St. Lucia. There is a deeper cause, what may be the root cause, and we need to examine ourselves. We need to look at ourselves as to what may be the cause, what may be the contributing factor to that violence that is ongoing, because, we think, there's a lull, and then we hear, it erupts again. You mean to tell me this young man from Denry that was shot in the car, there was no other means of resolving what they were going through, he and whoever who got him shot or who shot him? There was no other way of resolving that issue. Does that mean that all we see, in St. Lucia now is violence to resolve our issues, our disagreements? Is that what it is? What can somebody do that you want to take them down? You want to get rid of them forever? Forever. What can be so wrong, And people would be thinking in that way, that I can just get rid of him, do me something, I can just take him down, because there is no relationship with God. There is absolutely no relationship with God. This morning, I was celebrating a mass for the elderly in Babono. We had a mass where they brought them together, and to come to church, and they would feast them afterwards, And I was saying, our relationship with God, we need to be grateful for it. We need to be grateful to God for our relationships. How do parents who do not go to church, how do you raise your child? How do you raise your child? Do you raise your child? And I'm not saying, there are people who just don't believe in religion and this kind of thing. And that's okay. If that's what you believe, that's okay. We pray for you still, that the Lord would touch your hearts, touch your minds, touch your entire being, that one day you may see the light. But how do we raise our children? Do we raise our children and teaching them to respect one another? No matter creed, color, race, social status, political affiliation, sexual orientation. Do we teach our children to respect the other human being? Because the next human being is made in the image and likeness of God with the dignity of a human person. Do we teach people that? Do we teach people that at home, at work? Do we exercise these kind of things? Respect for each other, no matter creed, color, race, social status, political affiliation, sexual orientation. Do we treat each other that way? Sometimes we vex against somebody and we want to take somebody down because the person has a different opinion to us. My God. My God. So friends, we really need to look at ourselves as a country. And all of us who say that we are Christians, we need to take our Christianity to the highways and the byways. So I want to invite, the spiritual leaders. Let us not only be spiritual leaders within the four walls of our established churches. Let us go outside. Let us go to the highways and the byways and evangelize. Let us meet people where they are. Jesus Christ in his ministry met people where they were. He met people where they were. And we as spiritual leaders are called to do no less but to meet people where they are. In the highways, the byways, on the block, in the bars, at the supermarkets, on the beach, wherever we are, we must and we should carry Jesus with us. Because Christianity is not a part-time job. Christianity is a way of life. And don't get me wrong, being a Christian doesn't mean you would not do anything that is wrong. That's not what I'm saying. Being a Christian does not mean that you will not say things that are wrong. That is not what I'm saying. Being a Christian does not mean that you will not sin. That is not what I'm saying. But I think sometimes as Christians, we focus too much on certain things and we forget that the human person is very, very important. How do we treat that human person? How do we treat this person who is our brother, who's our sister, who's made in the image and likeness of God, just as we are made in the likeness and image of God? So, St. Lucia, I want to challenge all of us, whether you are Catholic, whether you are Pentecostal, whether you are Jehovah's Witness, whether you are evangelical, whether you are Seventh-day Adventist, whether you are Church of God Seventh-day, whether you are Anglican, whatever you are, I want to challenge all of us who's hearing this program tonight. Let us take our Christianity outside the walls of our churches. Let us take our Christianity into the schools. Let us take our Christianity into the various government ministries. Let us take our Christianity into the hotels where we work. Let us take our Christianity into the police force and the fire service. Let us take our Christianity as nurses, as doctors, as healthcare workers into the hospitals and the health facilities on this island. Let us take our Christianity into Lucilec and Flo and all the other places, the Labor Department in St. Lucia, NIC, Macy's, wherever we are. Let us take our Christianity into those various places, into those various facets of society, and let's look and see how we can transform St. Lucia into a better place. How we can transform St. Lucia into a place where all of us respect each other. Let us take our Christianity into the House of Parliament. Let us take our Christianity at our various meetings, when we have our various club meetings and all kinds of areas. Let us take our Christianity into the highways and byways of St. Lucia and to make St. Lucia a better place. All of us must play our rightful role. All of us must play our rightful role to take back St. Lucia and to help it to become a more peaceful place than it is right now. To make St. Lucia a place where we respect each other, no matter who the person is, rich or poor, white or black or brown, red or yellow or green or blue, whatever the person may be. It is a place where we will respect each other and see Christ in each other. We are called every day. Every day we are called to be Christ to one another. When I look at anybody on the face of the earth, when I look at anybody in St. Lucia, I am supposed to see Christ in that person, and I'm supposed to treat that person as Christ. We may find ourselves in ups and downs. We may find ourselves in disagreements. We may find ourselves in confusion. And if we are Christians, we need to ask the pertinent question, WWJD, what would Jesus do? Too often when we find ourselves in confusion, we forget that we are Christians. And we allow the devil to have the better of us. And then we start creating we start creating content about persons, and things the person have never done in their lives. These are the things we go and say about the person. We send it out on social media and we say all kinds of derogatory things about people, and then some of us, we feel sorry afterwards. Some of us, you don't even feel sorry because we allow the devil to. Remember, we are children of God. You want a better St. Lucia. I want a better St. Lucia. But what are we prepared to do? What work are we prepared to invest in to make St. Lucia a better place? To make St. Lucia a place where all of us feel welcome, no matter your political color, no matter your religion, no matter your sexual orientation, no matter your social status. All of us should feel welcome in this 238 square miles. I want to invite all of us to ponder, to reflect. The crime that is, and don't tell me, oh, there's crime everywhere. Let's stop the hypocrisy. Let us not say, oh, well, they're killing people everywhere. Let's look at the other Caribbean islands. Yes, that may be happening, but we do not want it for St. Lucia because it's not good. It's not good. So we need to challenge ourselves. And I want to challenge the parents, because most times parents know what their children are involved in. Most times, parents know what the children are involved in. Instead of going and look for protection for these children, ask them to turn themselves in. Instead of going to the Garde to get protection for these children and all kinds of things. Let me tell you, we are a Christian nation, but many of us, we believe in the occult. Many of us believe in the power of the devil. Many of us, we do things. We tamper with the underworld. Many of us, people tell you, oh, I go in and look for protection. And the women carry it in their brassieres and the men they pin it in their boxers. If we have fear of the Lord, if we are Christians, if we trust God and God will take care of us, St. Paul's letter to the Romans says, nothing can come between us and the love of God made visible in Jesus Christ. So if we believe that absolutely nothing can come between us and the love of God made visible in Jesus Christ, then there's no need to go and look for protection. There is no need to go and look for anything at the garden and those kind of things. Parents who know, who are aware that your children are involved in behaviors that are unbecoming, in behaviors that are not good, you need to turn them in. Do the right thing for yourselves, do the right thing for your child, and do the right thing for St. Lucia. We take a break and we will be right back with our programming. What's your point this evening?
No longer has to fear.
When I was first diagnosed with HIV, it was really difficult. But when I found out I was undetectable, that's when everything changed.
Get in care.
Stay in care.
Live well.
Introducing the new LuSelect Virtual Service Desk, where one click is your access to every service. From my account to streetlight reports, requests for payment arrangements to settle arrears, change of name and address. Easy online forms give you access from anywhere and at any time. Every service you need at your fingertips. Go to our website, luselect.com, and click on the Virtual Service Desk widget. LuSelect's Virtual Service Desk. Every solution at your fingertips.
The new home of the best country music is Power 97.9 FM.
Say the stars are bound to fade.
Switch us on Join Me, DJ Jerry, this and every Thursday from 8 p.m. to midnight for Country Gold, the best in country music.
Your bags are packed and waiting.
The new, the oldies, and the goldies. So let's make it a date. This and every Thursday with me, DJ Jerry, from 8 p.m. till midnight for Country Gold. If it's Thursday, it's Country Gold Thursday. Country Gold, only on Power 97.9 FM.
I lead a rich, rewarding life.
The future of communication is here. Say hello to eSIM at Digicel. Use your Digicel number without a physical SIM card in your phone, and your data minutes, and SMS all there. eSIM works with prepaid and postpaid. Activate more than one eSIM on the same device and use multiple phone numbers without a physical SIM card. Convert your existing number for only $10. Switch to Digicel and get a free eSIM, free 30-day plan, and 30 gigabytes data free. Digicel, first to give you eSIM technology in St. Lucia. Available at any Digicel store. Digicel, better connected.
P-O-W-E-R. We are the champion sound. Power 97.9 FM. Power 97.9 FM.
So the ghetto is still my home, no matter where I may roam. So there is something wrong, stop the wagging tongue. Maybe in our hearts, it's not love divine. There is something wrong, not to get us down. When we were deprived, found ways to survive. So to unravel, trouble. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. Hey.
Guns don't kill people. People kill people. Welcome back. Remember, folks, you can always join us in our discussion and make your meaningful contributions. We can call you. You can call us at 452-2979. On WhatsApp, 729-9979, or you can send us your voice notes, clean and short to the point, 729-9979. I'm able to arrest somebody tonight. Yes. And in studio, I have with me Sergeant Zachary Hippolyte, and I will allow him to introduce himself because I may not be able to tell you all about himself. Many of you, I'm sure, you know the person, but we are here tonight on What's Your Point. Welcome to this part of the world.
Thank you, Father Albert, and all those who are listening and viewing to Power FM, also on the live streaming platform. I am Sergeant Zachary Hippolyte, Royal St. Police Force. We've been a police officer for 28 years. I hail from the community originally of Grizzly, but raised in Moshi from the time I was 11 years old, Rivemito Moshi, and I'm very happy to be here, Father Albert. I'm ready to have a nice discussion.
Thank you very much. I must say he did not resist arrest.
I didn't. I came willingly.
Yes, willingly. You know, I felt of inviting you here as one of the key stakeholders in society.
Okay.
Looking at, where we are as a country in terms of crime. And I know there are many, many good policemen out there doing a good job.
Yes, there are.
In every sphere of life, you have rotten apples, but we will not go down there. No, and I feel, I think, we with the whole crime issue, and not only crime, but school violence. So it is even with our own children.
Yes.
The school violence. So I want to ask you as we begin, what may you think? What in your mind, from your own profession, from your own training, because my training is different from yours.
Yes.
What may you think would be the cause of the violence in society?
Violence. Well, Father Albert, I've been a police officer for 28 years, and in that 28 years, I've experienced so many different circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many different reasons. Sometimes, I'm not a psychoanalyst or a sociologist. Some people sometimes cite crime, reasons for crime like poverty, peer pressure, all different stuff. But if we have to take a page from the good book, the very first homicide, according to the Bible, was that between Cain and Abel. And why did Cain do what he did? I think it was just for a reason of jealousy.
You're very correct.
So therefore, it's very difficult for one to actually give an actual reason, in my opinion, for what causes crime. But we know that human beings have choice, Father Albert. And I have seen a lot of things and heard a lot of things and a lot of confessions from different individuals who have been arrested and convicted. And there's just... Sometimes you just cannot pinpoint it.
Right.
There's just a lot of reasons.
Yeah, so there are a number of reasons which would add to this whole thing.
Yes, most definitely. Right. There are people who do it out of necessity. I mean, if you're talking about someone who might say, "Oh, bossman, I was hungry today, so I felt like I just had to rob this individual of their purse so I could sell their phone so I can get some money so I can buy something." And then there's another person that would rob this individual of their purse just because they like to see the purse. And then there's this person that say, "Okay, I believe there's this phone in it, so therefore that's why he took the purse." And then there are those individuals that just wanted to just rob this individual of their purse just because they just want to. And then they throw the purse away.
I understand that. I understand that. But I think, the society on a whole, plays a role in some of those crimes.
Yeah.
So you mentioned, this person may be hungry and still, and I was it yesterday? I was at a meeting and somebody made the point. Was it Mahatma Gandhi who says there is enough food in the world to feed everyone that is hungry.
Yes.
But not enough to feed our greed.
Our greed. I saw that on your status.
Yes.
I loved it.
And I'm saying, that is so true.
Yes.
I heard a story a few days ago, I think last week or when I was on retreat, I heard a story that this young man went into a supermarket and stole bread.
Okay.
He was arrested. He was convicted. He went to court. And, he said to the judge, he has a sick mom at home. Nobody's willing to help. And he didn't have a choice because he couldn't dare see his mother, going hungry and dying of hunger. So he stole the bread. He got caught. And the judge returned a verdict which stunned everybody in the courtroom.
Not guilty?
No. The judge says while this man stole and he's guilty, he had no reason to steal the bread because we have not done what we were supposed to do because nobody's supposed to be hungry.
Yeah, I'll be stunned.
So he charged everybody in the room $10.
Are you serious?
Yes.
But that's interesting.
Yes. You understand? So, again, when we as society do not do what we have to do, and that's what I was talking about earlier, if we call ourselves Christians, and many of us, we go to church. Yes. Whether it is Catholic, and I don't care, I tell people, I don't care your religion. Let us all find a place to worship, because I think that is important. No religion teaches crime. No religion teaches to steal. No religion teaches any bad things, because we are supposed to be the moral conscience of society. So when we do not do what we're supposed to do, I think, then we contribute. We may not like to hear it, but it's the truth.
Yeah, because some people still say, he still had choice. He could have asked somebody from that particular supermarket to buy him
That
a loaf
is
of
true,
bread.
but do we know how many persons did he ask and he was rejected?
And they said no.
As human
Okay.
beings,
True.
we do not like rejection, do we?
No, not at all.
Exactly.
Not at all.
Exactly.
It's a
As
bad
human
thing.
beings, we do not like rejection. So when we look at this whole thing, for me, from my own perspective, from a Christian perspective, I think some of the crimes that are happening has to do with a serious breakdown in parenting.
Well said.
Serious breakdown in parenting.
I am in charge of the community relations branch of the Royal Central Police Force. I like to say good night to my staff and my supervisor, Inspector Foster Chico. And one of our duties, Father, is to it's about crime prevention. So we work closely with the schools,
Right.
And most times we do intervention with students, teachers, and parents. And Father, the parents, sometimes I need to counsel and speak to the parents apart from the children, because I realize with the attitude of the parents, with their mindset, with even the way they would present themselves, I could see where it's coming from, where the children have adopted their bad behaviors from. It's from the home.
I mean, children learn, and that's what, children learn from what they see. One time I was walking in Castries and a woman was pushing this stroller. And I don't know what the child did.
Yes.
I tell, see, maman. And I said, but you shouldn't say that because the child, the child not talking yet. And I said, no, their minds are like sponges.
Yes.
And when they begin speaking, they will repeat the same thing and will wonder where they get it from. So, the breakdown in parenting. And, when you have this whole thing of children making children, you cannot give to the child what you don't have. A lot of, when you look, and I may be wrong, when you look at a lot of the crimes that are happening now, the age range of these people, I believe, I may be wrong, subject to correction, that many of them never even know how to pray.
Yeah, it could be, but there's also something I really want our listeners to be aware of, Father. There's another phenomenon. Because though I did state earlier on, rightly so, that there are those parents that are culpable.
Right.
We still have this situation where there are those parents who try their best.
True.
They go to church.
True.
They are law-abiding citizens. And their children are still deviant and still do bad things. We need to remember or bring into play the phenomenon of technology.
Right. Oh, yes.
And Father, most times when I speak to parents and their children, I ask them one important question. The device that your daughter or son has, which is the cell phone, which is connected to the internet. And when you're connected to the internet, folks, you're connected to the entire world, which means you have different individuals who could influence your child.
Yes.
Do you have your child's password? No.
Now earlier on I was saying, the sacrifices that some parents made when I was growing up, because they did not have all those gadgets and stuff.
Yes.
And they did their best. But now parents are too tired even to spend some time with the children. So it's easy to give them the phone.
And just leave
them.
Not realizing they're allowing those devices to raise their children.
Exactly.
And what you get through those devices, different individuals, different mentalities, the songs that they listen to,
Yes.
whilst they have the earbuds
Yes.
plugged, and the parents is like, okay, he's fine and calm and cool in his room.
Exactly.
You have no idea the type of lyrics that is influencing your child. And you're wondering, but Trevor is not like that.
Yes.
What happened to Trevor all of a sudden?
Exactly. So we have a serious problem on our hands.
Yeah.
And I don't think any one person any one person has the answer. So it has to be, we need to go back in some form or fashion where the community raised the child.
I fear that's the difficulty, Father.
It is a difficulty.
And I don't think it can happen. Father, I have faith.
All
that I don't
things
think
are possible with God. All things are possible. We can't give up,
I believe for a few, yes, it will. But on the large scale that we need to change things, I really fear it cannot happen, Father, because like I said, technology is a very important factor, and until the new age parents. I like to call it new age because we're not talking about the era of yourself and before and beyond and what I knew growing up. Unless the new age type of parenting understands that for the community to raise the child, the community now has to come back and be the main influence of that child along with the parents. But what is the majority of the influence? WhatsApp, WhatsApp groups, technology.
Yes.
That's the problem, Father.
Well, but you know, as men and women on this journey, we cannot give up.
No, I'll never give up.
We must be persistent. But again, we need to challenge people. We need to invite people. We need to challenge people. We need, as a country, to be able to work together. We need to put our differences aside. Too often, we allow our differences to take root and to take place, the place of where we should be coming together for the common good.
And look differences if I don't.
What do you mean? Well, Batima Gisla Pasha. Batima Gisla Pasha. You know, and you know, we have become so thin-skinned. So thin-skinned, and you know, anything, you know, somebody wants to hit back at us. Somebody wants to get to you and those kind of things. You know what I'm saying? You know, I mean, we may never get back to where we were, you know, but I believe, you know, that if all of us come on board, then I think we can bring it probably to a place where we may be a little more comfortable with it.
I agree, Father. We have been working too much in isolation.
Yes.
And that's why we at the Community Relations branch, we always try to reach out to other. I don't know, Father, if you noticed that in Mikud a couple of weeks ago, we did this visit to the family who were victims of where their brother was chopped by the bus stop in Mikud, and we did this psychosocial intervention.
Right.
And there was Father Setut, there was the CRB, there were counselors, and it was so rewarding and amazing for the family. And I said to myself, but look at what we can do if we come together. Yes.
You know, and that is something that I often say as Christians. You know, we belong to different denominations, but as Christians, too often we concentrate on what is different between us. Because I believe that there are more things that are common that brings us together than divides us. But you find, oh, this one throwing words for that one, and that one, oh, the Catholics praying the Hail Mary and they're going to hell. That's not what we're about. We're about Jesus Christ and Jesus. What did Jesus give us? One commandment, you know, to love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your strength, all your might. And he says the second resembles it, to love your neighbor as yourself. To love your neighbor as yourself. So, I mean, we have work to do, but where do we start? Where do we start? Well, you know, I mean, another thing that kills me, you know, is the loitering of children after school. I remember when I was going to school, I couldn't do that. I went to SD Academy, you know, and on a Friday we finished school at 1:20 because those who were of that persuasion had to go and get ready before sunset and those kind of things. But we who were not Adventists, we couldn't loiter in town. We couldn't do that. Now, you know, and I hear parents making all kinds of excuses.
Yes.
Oh, supposing I send my child to do message for me and my child's still in town. Once you have that school uniform on you, you should be answerable to that school.
I agree.
If you want your child to go and make message for you, ask your child to take another shirt and to remove the school uniform. You know, too often, you know, it's my right. It's my right.
It's my right.
It's my right. But rights comes with responsibility.
Yes, I so agree. And especially now, Father, what has been revealed is that most of those children who get themselves involved in violent and deviant behavior after school are involved in gangs. So the gangs have infiltrated the schools. Okay, and they have this gang called 6 and this gang called 7. Oh, wow. They actually have their sign that is 6 and that is 7. And we have and then again, when it comes to my point about the technology, where parents are not casting an eye or supervising their children's online activities, most of the times that's where the children get recruited.
Right.
Through the devices, through the phones.
Right.
So I want parents to understand how important that is. because it's a problem.
Yes, yes. So we have a lot on our hands. I want to acknowledge the persons for following us on the various platforms.
Nice. Oh, yes.
On Facebook, on whatever platform you're following us. And don't forget, we can call to make our contributions. To join in the discussion. You may have an idea that would help us solve some of the issues that we are being faced with, because I don't like when people say, oh well, it's the responsibility of the government.
No, people want police to chase people's children in the city. The police could only do what the law allows them to
do. Exactly. But one of the things that I am broken about is, the whole thing of corporal punishment in schools. And I have a lot of friends who are teachers, and they says to me, Father, that parents cannot do anything at home with the children. They send them to school, and then, the ministry has taken off corporal punishment.
Yes.
So even we cannot do anything. You
Yes.
look at a child too hard, and they go to complain to their mother, and then it's bullying.
Yes, the social scientists declared that corporal punishment has more disadvantages than advantages. I received corporal punishment from my parents and my teachers, and I turned out fine.
I'm the same. I'm the same.
So they listen to the social scientists and they just, okay.
Yes, but you see, okay, so we have removed corporal punishment from the schools, but what did we put as a stop, as a measure to help, keeping how you call it, to keep
some form of discipline,
exactly,
respect,
exactly.
Speak to the children. That's it.
Really?
Yes, Father.
But that's not good enough. We know it's not working. We know the parents cannot even speak to the children at home, far less the teachers. But we know that. So we are jokers. We are a bunch of jokers. I was in Grosvenor yesterday,
yes.
Doing this retreat for parents of children in First Communion and Confirmation. And somebody says, Father, well, you're 11 years, in whose house? 11 years?
Yes.
You cannot do anything with a child 11 years at your home?
I once dealt with an 11-year-old from Castries who was in charge of a gang, Father. An 11-year-old boy. He's currently at the Master Boys Training School. And when my staff and I interviewed him, we were shocked at his level of intelligence at 11 years old. And I was worried. I said, oh my goodness, if at 11 he's that intelligent, but he's using that mentality for badness.
Exactly.
Could you imagine if he doesn't change and he becomes 16, 17, 18? We're in trouble.
Yeah, but you see, again, it goes back to something I was saying earlier. When, and I'm Catholic, and so I like to, when we bring these children for baptism, we make a public profession as parents and godparents that we will raise those children in the Christian faith.
Yeah.
So when you do not raise that child in the Christian faith, you leave that child to become a gang leader at 11.
And somebody say, Father, I don't have the time to get the Christian knowledge. I am a single mother. I work different shifts. The father is in jail or the father is wherever. I don't have the time.
The church make things available, yeah?
Oh, there's a call. Oh.
Yes, there is a call.
Good evening. Thank you for calling. What's your point?
Good evening. Well, my point is that, okay, I, of course, having a spiritual background in the greater power.
You're breaking up, caller. Could you probably try to change your location? I can hardly hear you.
Driving. I am using the hands-free.
Okay.
Oh, maybe that's why. Yes, better.
Okay, all right. If
much better, much better.
Better? Okay. All right. So, like I was saying, it's true there is to believe in a greater power, believe in God, believe in something bigger than us that would help us have that positive direction in life is very important. But I still believe that there's a saying that some people do good because they fear God, and others do good because they are just good people. You understand? Like somebody told they'll not do that because of they're afraid to go to hell or whatever. Not that they don't want to do it, but because of hell they will not do it. You understand? Maybe they rob somebody or whatever. But they have some people that they just do not want to see harm done to other people. It doesn't matter how bad things are by them.
Right. I've lost him.
Yeah, I
They will
think.
not
Oh, there he is.
inflict that kind. There are those men that work in the the Colombian mafia and stuff like that. The guys, they believe in Mary, they believe in God, they do all of that. They will actually pray before they go and commit a murder. They will pray for protection.
Oh my goodness.
You know, they have their whole shrine and everything. They pray for protection before they go to kill because they believe in what they're doing and they believe what they're doing is right. You understand? And God will protect them. So it's the mentality, it's where the thought processes are. You know? And I heard the officer saying that the young boy was so intelligent, and what happened to him? He grows up, what kind of person will be? But even right now, we have fully grown adults who engage in criminal behavior, so much so to the point where they can infiltrate the government. You know, and I'm not going to be political or anything. I'm not going there,
Right,
because
right.
even Escobar, was it Escobar? Escobar, he became part of the Colombian parliament. You know, knowing all what people know, he became part of the Colombian parliament so that he could try and change the laws to prevent himself from being extradited.
Yes, caller. I mean, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
The system is a problem.
Yeah, the system may be a problem, but when we pray as well, you know, what is our intention? People pray for evil. And, you know, praying to Mary. Say you're praying to Mary before you go and commit a crime for Mary to protect you. That does not mean Mary is going to protect you. Because Mary does not, you know, was that?
It's what the person believes.
Well, that's what the person believes, but that does not mean that is the actual reality, because everything that Mary stands for is quite contrary to that. Quite contrary to that. So, I mean, yes, that's what the person may believe, but at the end of the day, I mean, it is a contrary. When you look at the person of Mary, you know, Mary's belief, Mary's whole life is contrary to what the person is portraying. So at the end of the day, I mean, they may say that, you know, and some of those Spanish countries are very Catholic, but you can use that Catholicism in the wrong way. The same way you can use the Bible in the wrong way. The same way people use Bible to pray, but you see, the prayer is what is your intention? What is your intention?
The reality working in, that's what I'm looking at. But the reality.
No, I understand. I understand you, but Mary will never be part of anything that is contrary to the will of God.
We're not saying it works. We're not saying when they do that it works, but
no, I'm
sometimes they get caught, sometimes they don't.
Well, yeah, but thank you very much for your contribution. Thank you for opening the baton.
Yeah.
Yes. So we take a break and we will be right back. We have one. Yeah, we have a call now. Yes, so we take a break and we will be right back with your calls on at 452-2979, 452-2979, on WhatsApp 729-9979, or you can send your voice notes on 729-9979. Keep them clean and short, and you can also make your contribution via the WhatsApp platform. Thank you for joining us, and we will be right back.
From St. Lucia to the globe, Power 97.9 FM.
It's coming. The brunch of the century. Welcome to Sunburnt. Sunday, November 26th. Sunburnt. It's coming.
The new home of the best country music is Power 97.9 FM.
Say the stars are bound to fade.
Switch us on Join Me, DJ Jerry, this and every Thursday from 8 p.m. till midnight for Country Gold, the best in country music.
Your bags are packed and waiting.
The new, the oldies, and the goldies. So let's make it a date. This on every Thursday with me, DJ Jerry, from 8 p.m. till midnight for Country Gold. If it's Thursday, it's Country Gold Thursday. Country Gold, only on Power 97.9 FM.
I lead a rich, rewarding life.
The future of communication is here. Say hello to eSIM at Digicel. Use your Digicel number without a physical SIM card in your phone, and your data, minutes, and SMS all there. eSIM works with prepaid and postpaid. Activate more than one eSIM on the same device and use multiple phone numbers without a physical SIM card. Convert your existing number for only $10. Switch to Digicel and get a free eSIM, free 30-day plan, and 30 gigabytes data free. Digicel, first to give you eSIM technology in St. Lucia. Available at any Digicel store. Digicel, better connected.
First National Bank has the best deals on used vehicle loans. On Saturday, 30th September, visit us at the Derek Walcott Square from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Take advantage of our low interest rates, fast approval, and comfortable payment terms. Get free consultations with registered used car dealers, as well as our knowledgeable lending professionals. Special terms and conditions apply. Make it your Saturday lime with First National Bank. Here for you.
St. Lucia, get set for one big night as we celebrate Midnight Groover's 50th anniversary. It's happening on Saturday, October 14th at 4 Door in Dennery. Celebrate 50 years with Midnight Groovers. Also featuring the Secret Solo Band, Prosper, General Bates, Ali Katz, Mishak, and your 2023 Soca Monarch King, Imran Nerdy. Music by DJ Cleus, DJ Camo, and Ronnie Dread. Early bird tickets cost $75. Regular, $100. You pay more at the door. Get your tickets over at Steve's Barbershop in Castries, Anthony's Jewelers, all the sell outlets, the Shelter Bar over in Babano, Falco's Bar in Richford Dennery, Plants Place in Dennery, and Seamay's Distributors in Latuni View Forts. Sponsored by Blue Waters, First National Bank, Little House in the Woods, Courtesy Taxi and Tours, BB Rum, MBC Real FM, Hot 7 TV, Liberty FM and TV, powered by Root Boy and endorsed by the Folk Research Center. Saturday, October 14th, Midnight Groover's 50th anniversary inside 4 Door in Dennery. Make this your lime. Get your tickets. St. Lucia Paradise Entertainment brings to you Climax, a neon affair featuring live and living color. Stock Ashley.
Bad, getting close to me.
Also featuring Gifter.
Babylon, they lock me up.
Circumstance.
You say bad man for Jimusha.
It's all happening on Saturday, October 21st at the Ancillary Football Playing Field. Early bird tickets cost $100. Regular $130. VIP $250. Get your tickets over at The Cell, Island-wide, Mercedes Kitchen in Castries, Young Kings in Castries, Castro's Pub in Groselet. Call up 726-2362 or 721-4299 for tickets. Gets open from 7 p.m.
Mama Ici, écoutez, on Saturday, October 28th, Project Chocolat is the place to be for Fête Creole. Starting from 7 p.m., we're serving a Creole food so divine, you want seconds. Entertainment by Wule Tete Solo Group, the ever electrifying Extreme Band, DJ Rimo, and more. Tickets are $70 for adults over 18. 13 to 18 years pay half price at the door. Timu, little ones, 12 and under, enter free. It's about family, delicious food, and true Lucian spirits. Fini celebrate Fête Creole avec nous at Project Chocolat.
Streaming live via the internet at www.power979.com. This is Power 97.9 FM.
I had the privilege of being a parish priest in Gonzales. The church was St. Martin de Porres Church, and Holy Rosary. Holy Rosary was in the banking sector, and St. Martin was in the hills. The St. Martin de Porres community, when I walked into it in January 2003, they had 6 gangs in and around the Gonzales community, which is 300 acres. It's a very small community, of 6 gangs active. And by Good Friday that year, I'd had 5 murders in 6 weeks. And the last of those was on Good Friday morning. A little fellow called Jamal, 15 years old, was shot in his bed. And that was because Jamal's stepfather was a gang lord that the others couldn't get to, so they couldn't get to him. They got to Jamal because Indy, his mom. So that's just how the hood goes down. So in that, I called the leaders together of the community, all the leaders, sports, religious, every political, everybody. And then started a process with the Canadian Institute of Planners, with the City of Port of Spain, with town planning, with some of the government agencies, started a process where we brought the community together to vision itself forward. And the community actually came up with a vision. It was written on the 4 entrance points into the community. And then they decided on 8 different urban problems that they had and started working on them. We got the state representatives to come in, like water or lights or garbage disposal or all these things, to come and work with us to solve these urban problems. And at the same time I was doing that, I started meeting with the gangs one-on-one in clusters, but because they were at war, I'd go into their territory, sit with them on the street and just talk. So I would spend 20 hours a week on the block just speaking with people and young people and gangs and whoever would speak with me, until I'd built enough credibility to really have a reach into the whole of the community. And then at a time when there was a war that was going on and a machine gun came out one night, and I said, well, that was enough of that. I brought together 4 of the gangs in one of our parishes, Assumption Parish, to do a mediation. And in that meeting, we actually got an accord that they stepped away from that war. And after that, the peace in the community started to flourish more and more. Then I had to work with the lieutenants of the gangs who were facing off still and get them. One day, one of the lieutenants shot off a gun, so I went to him and I said, Garth, what is this about? Why are you breaking the orders of your boss? Your boss said to you, you're not doing this. He said, well, Father, I had to send him a message. I said, you'd have to do what? He said, yes, I had to send them a message. Wait, you're trying to communicate? Yes, Father, I had to send them a message. The gun was a means of communication. So I started to do communication lessons with them to talk about, to brainstorm how else he could have sent the message, and then work from that to a form of literacy so that the gun doesn't become the only means of sending a message within the community. I mean, it was incredible. And so got them then to call me when a problem arose, and then I would mediate, and then we would work together. And after a while, he came to me and he said, anyhow, we solve our problems. So they had seen each other on the street. Both of them had guns on them. They handed it to the people next to them. They went together. They met. They sorted it out. And from that day, that was the end of the tension in the community. So it was a process on several levels. On the level of intervention with the gangs directly and holding them accountable, and giving power back to the community, because the community had given all the power to the gangs. So I was taking the power from the gangs, handing it back to the community, and fostering a new group of leaders in the community who were leading the community in a positive way.
Thank you. This was Bishop Jason Gordon of Trinidad and Tobago when he was a young priest. Welcome back to What's Your Point on Power 97.9 FM. You know, you can call to make your contributions at 452-2979 or WhatsApp 729-9979. Sergeant, what
Father,
sayest thou?
No, that's amazing. That's what you call community, different stakeholders, like you mentioned, coming together and making a change in a particular community. But there was something that I remember, and that he said that was very key. I think they also had support from, I think he mentioned some Canadian group or whatsoever.
Yes.
One of the issues we have in St. Lucia is sustainability. We would try something, we do a program, and then sometimes through lack of interest, lack of funding, lack of commitment, it just ends. But that's just amazing, and that can happen here. That can happen here. Father.
Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. Let us hold us the stakeholders to ransom.
Yes,
you see, because it is affecting all of us. The violence in St. Lucia is affecting all of us. And I think, all of us as responsible citizens of St. Lucia, we need to play our rightful role, to return some normalcy to our country.
Yeah. I could tell you for sure, and I hope she won't mind me saying that. So, when our commissioner, Mrs. Descartes Pelius, returned, we had a little discussion, and she was speaking about this very same thing, about there needs to be more collaboration between the agencies and leaders on the ground and stuff like that. She's very passionate about that happening. It's just a matter of, like you said, let's do it, let's get it done, and the sustainability of it, we need the financial backing, because I could imagine that the father, that's a lot of work. He said he spent almost 20 hours
a week.
20
hours.
Big up to him. Honestly, that's commitment.
When I studied in Trinidad, one of my lecturers, he's now a retired bishop of Trinidad, Father Bishop Joharis, Archbishop Joharis. He said to us, when you become priest, when you become young priest, and you're sent to a parish, the first persons you need to befriend are the boys on the block.
Yeah, I agree.
Are the boys on the block. Now, you find the opposite, because many times we are sent to a parish and these people are considered to be second class, no class. I remember when I went to Soufre, that was it was my second parish, because I did a short stint in Roseau Jacmel as parish administrator for 4 months. But when I went to Soufre, I mingled with everybody. And some of the key persons, what you call the poteau l'église, felt I should not be hanging out with the boys on the block.
And that's really weird, because even the good book tells us about that.
Exactly.
Jesus Christ said, I didn't come for the good people, I came for those who are lost.
Yes, and that is why, I continue saying to people, the church is a hospital for sinners. The church is a hospital for sinners. And if our sinners cannot find solace, cannot feel welcome in the church, where would they feel welcome? So we have work to do, St. Lucia. We have a lot of work to do. I want to acknowledge the people from Baytown, Texas, from Hartford, Connecticut, and all those following us on Facebook, on the various platforms. Please call in. The lines are open to make your contribution, because guess what? I cannot do it alone. Sergeant cannot do it alone. We need everybody to be on board. We need politicians. And when I say politicians, I mean the government, both arms of the government.
Yes.
We need the private sector. We need funding. We need everything. We need the media. Enough media workers. I don't hear them condemning crime. I don't hear the churches condemning crime. I'm sorry to say it, but I don't hear them condemning. And when you don't speak about it, what does it say? Are we saying that, we okay until somebody who's related to us gets shot or something? We need, if it is bad, we need to speak about it.
There you go, sir. And I so agree with you, Father. I said something like that just recently on my talk show, because some individual had called another particular talk show, and there's nothing wrong with criticism. We learn from criticism. But he was concerned about police giving information and confidentiality and stuff like that. And before I continue, I just want to tell people, if you don't know, you could always call the police 555 from any mobile device. 555, it is a hotline where you could give any anonymous tip on any crime you have seen or etc. You don't have to leave your name, whatever. So that's something that solves the concern about confidentiality.
Yes.
And what I said was, I want us to use our voices a little more to do exactly what you said there, Father. Condemn crime and say it's wrong.
Exactly. I say, yes, we have matches, we have all kinds of things, against crime. But we need to make strong statements against crime.
That's right.
Strong statements against crime. And crime in any form or fashion, violence in any form or fashion, it is wrong. And we need to be on record, not only to be having a match, not only to be, but we need to be on record that, the Catholic Church, the Chamber of Commerce, the government, both arms of the government, the public sector, the private sector, the Chamber of Commerce, we need to be a united voice in condemning crime. We need to be a united voice.
Agree.
Because a house divided against itself cannot stand. And the house that we are all members of is St. Lucia. That's the house we are all part of. So we must be able to stand together, stand united to condemn crime and violence in St. Lucia, and let us do what we need to do. The parents who are citoyen children, who know that the children are involved in this kind of thing, we need to be man enough and woman enough and to say to your child, you should not be part of that.
That's
because
right.
when
That's
one
right.
person is shot,
That's
you're
right.
not destroying one person, You're destroying a family, an entire family. And that family may be extended, and death is brutal. Death is brutal on anybody. Even somebody who who is sick, who eventually the doctors cannot do anything for that person, and you expect that person to die. When that person eventually dies, all hell breaks loose. Far less somebody who left their homes, they go to work, and the next news you get in, this person was shot.
Yeah. Well, like you said, there's a lot of things that needs to be done. There are things that are being done. I was happy to see that recently the government there was this announcement of our forensic lab will now have the capability when it comes to firearm investigations, and that brings me to another point, Father. We need a little more access to justice at all levels, easier access to justice. I'll give you an example, Father. We have a lot of minor issues that happens in the communities that the police has no power to act upon. So I'll give you an example.
Right.
Jack owes John $20. Jack owes John $20. John have asked Jack, buddy, when you paying me?
Right.
I need my money.
Yes.
Yeah, man, I'll have time to pay you whatsoever. Weeks pass by, months pass by. John is getting frustrated to the point where Jack has even told John, yes. Let me power and I pay you.
Yes.
John goes to the station, okay, makes a report. The police, that is a civil matter. So most times John is turned away by the police. They're telling him you need to go and see a lawyer. Now, to see a lawyer, to sit down and just speak to that lawyer, that's already $150, but you want $20. So John gets frustrated and says, you know what happened? Me say, Papa, pay him where?
Yes.
I'll take it out on his skin.
Yes.
We need more access, like things like small claims courts. I know they are researched on them, Father. They initiated in other jurisdictions where the common man on the street who cannot afford to pay a lawyer, and I'm not bashing on the lawyers, you have your job to do, but the reality of it is most of those little circumstances, those little fracas, you want to call it, in the communities, they turn out to be the big ones, where someone end up getting chopped, someone end up getting killed. So it would be nice to see one day if our governments were to activate or establish small claims courts where Jack now, through government funding, can take John to court for the $20 he owes him. And here magistrate say, Jack, you are wrong.
Exactly.
You need to pay John, and because of the length of time you haven't paid him, you'll pay him $40 instead.
I agree. And that is very true.
Yeah.
We need to have those mechanisms in place. We need to. You mentioned the forensic lab, and I just want to say, big up to Fernanda Henry for her work.
Oh,
at the
yes.
forensic
Oh, yes.
lab,
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
So I want to tell her, keep
Strong
on doing what
woman. She's been there a long time. Holding that. She's been there a long time. She was on my show once.
We are strong people,
Yes,
we are
strong
resilient
woman.
people.
Yes, she's
so I want to encourage Fernanda Henry in her work, and continue to work for the country, and you are a woman of faith, that the Lord does not, the Lord sees your good work, So, again, this whole thing of what are we to do? What are we to do? I want to call on civil society. I want to call on all stakeholders. I want to say to every St. Lucian, I want to say to every man and woman of goodwill that we have work to do.
We have work to do.
We have work to do.
I agree. We have work to do.
I have been mandated, with a challenge by a friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
I am putting it together and I need to execute it, but it's still a little early.
Okay.
I'm still doing the workings. I will need the support of the police when the time comes around.
Just call on me,
but
Father.
we need to take St. Lucia by storm.
Yes.
To reduce on the amount of crime, the violent crimes. We need to take St. Lucia by storm. You see, just like when election time comes, the red and the yellow, they go out house canvassing, house to house.
We can do that.
We can do that, and we need to do that. And I want to challenge. I want to challenge the Chamber of Commerce. I want to challenge the businesses in St. Lucia to put their monies where their mouth is. Put their monies where their mouth is. If you want peace to return to St. Lucia, it may not go back to the experience of heaven. I've never been there.
Yeah.
But where there'll be no worries, But
Yeah.
we can do something, and everybody must play their rightful role. The rightful role in bringing St. Lucia to a place where we feel comfortable, in going out. I remember when I was growing up, people used to go to the beach in the night.
Yes, in the night.
People used to go to the beach in the night.
We left our houses open, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Now you have to think twice, rather.
I was just in Grenada last week. I was on pastoral assignment. I was preaching in one of the parishes. They had a parish revival for 3 nights, and I was saying, look at that. During the day, I was taking a rest in the house. The priest went out, and the door is wide open. The door is wide open.
Grenada?
Yes.
Grenada has a low crime rate.
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm saying, but that is what we used to be.
That's what we used to be, yeah. Grenada is where we used to be in the 90s.
That is where we used to be.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, what is it can we take? What we need to go back. We need to step back. And I want to invite everybody. Let's put aside politics, because politics oftentimes destroys us as a people. Politics destroys us as a people. Let us put aside politics. We say we are Christian nation.
I've always said crime doesn't care if you're red or yellow.
Exactly. But guess what? My job becomes difficult, because when I have to be doing funerals of murdered people, it takes a toll on me as well. It takes a toll on me. What do I say to that family who's angry, who wants to get back, who wants to take revenge? What do I say to that family? God loves them. They're ready to slap me. Because if God loved them, their loved one would not be murdered. So
I understand.
Yes.
Understand. Yeah, that's reality right there.
It is. The first time I did a funeral under heavy police presence I was a student in Jamaica, studying for the priesthood. And you're young, you're stupid, so they called me for a funeral. And at that time, when I was studying in Jamaica, I made my allowance as a student for the priesthood was $500 Jamaican dollars. So it was 40 EC at the time.
Wow. Okay.
To do a funeral was 2,500 Jamaican dollars. So they call you for a funeral, you're okay, You're going to do a funeral because, at the end of that, you get 2,500 Jamaican, which was a lot of money for you at the time. And I went, and when I got to the cathedral, in Kingston, to realize the funeral that I'm coming to do is a murdered person. And the cathedral was surrounded
by police.
Wow. With heavy machine guns. I got cold. I was not expecting that was it. And I'd never seen that in my life. I'd never seen that in my life. So, friends, as we come to the close of our program, time has run out on us. I want to invite all of us Thank you for listening. Thank you for following on the various
Father,
platforms.
someone is saying you should go to the House of Parliament and say a few words of peace.
I can do that today. I can do that
Yes,
because our politicians need to be, to exercise peace among themselves. And it's what we portray out there. It's what we portray out there. I long for the day when we can have healthy discussions, when we can speak with each other and do not attack the person, but the issues.
Okay.
And it happens all around, on every sphere, including in the priesthood. Sometimes you raise an issue and the person takes offense, because they feel you're attacking them. But, we need to look at issue and not person. We need to.
Well said.
We need to. So I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. We only got one call. I'm still waiting for the other calls. But, I want to thank Sergeant Zachary Hippolyte for being with us, gracing us with your presence. I hope it's the first and not the last time, and we can look at other things, at other times, and, thank all those who called, well, one person who called, but all those who joined us and made their contributions on Facebook and the other platforms. So thank you very much. Do have a wonderful night.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Next week, we are going to have Monsignor Patrick Anthony as our guest on the show. And, it's Moi Heritage Creole. So we want to look at the whole thing of culture and Creole and we as a people. But not only that, because part of his studies, he looked at the whole thing of Kele and the killing of goat and goat blood and how it is used in a positive and negative way. So we want to explore next week. So I'm inviting you from today. Don't miss. Be ready. Same place, same time next week Thursday. Do have a wonderful evening. Good night.